Democratic Party is looking to send thank you cards for its big Virginia victories. The exit polls make it pretty clear who should be at the top of their list. Black women, who lent 91% of their support to Ralph Northam. They were a key component to his win on Tuesday. And with the wind at Democrats' backs after Tuesday's election results, a focus on those key constituencies could help them drop a blueprint for a winning strategy in 2018. Emphasis on could. Because as my next guest observed in her new book, reflecting on the 2016 election, the Democratic Party has snatched defeat from the jaws of victory before. And joining me now is Donna Brazile, former chair of the Democratic National Committee and author of Hacks, the inside story of the break-ins and breakdowns that put Donald Trump in the White House. Thank you for being here.
You know what? It is a great joy to be here on AM Joy.
Yes, well, I appreciate you coming. So let's start with that last point. African-American voters really delivered in Virginia, really delivered in New Jersey. But you write in your book that in the 2016 election, Robbie Mook and the Clinton campaign didn't want to spend more money to get the Obama coalition out. Is that a fair assessment of what they did? Because I think in their point of view, they were like, the African-American voters said it was very important to them.
It was extremely important, and they understood that we had to not just mobilize the Obama coalition, but we had to ensure that they got out in similar numbers to 2012. Look, I want to first of all applaud, many of my colleagues who went out there last year to work on the campaign. The Clinton campaign was focused on 270 electoral votes. But as chair of the Democratic Party, I was focused on electing Democrats up and down the ticket. I used to say from the courthouse all the way to the White House. One of the reasons why I said early on in the book that they thought that giving the DNC chair $2 million for 10 weeks, that's not enough money, Joy. I knew we needed more resources to invest in down-ballot races.
And you had some real challenges, and you write very critically of, there's an infamous character, Brandon, in the book, who was sort of the minder from the Clinton campaign, who was there to sort of watch over you, even though you were the chairman. You write in the book, in one of the more evocative passages, and there are a lot of them, that essentially your requests for money were being denied, and you were getting really frustrated. You said, all I want you to do, and this is what you're telling Brooklyn, is treat me with some respect. I said, my voice rising. I'm not Debbie, meaning Debbie Wasserman Schultz. I'm not Hannah, and I'm not Patsy the slave. Yeah. Y'all keep whipping me and whipping me. You never give me any money or any way to do my damn job. I'm not going to be your whipping girl. From this time on, we're keeping the money we raise. Is that clear? Patsy is keeping her money.
Yeah, and you can imagine when I made those comments, I was frustrated. Donald Trump went into a black community and said, what the hell do you have to lose? And Joy, in my mind, I thought health care, voting rights, gay rights. I thought about all of the great progress the president had made on the economy, all of the great progress the president had made on climate accord, and my job as the chair of the Democratic Party was to advocate on behalf of Democrats up and down the ticket. And so while Brooklyn had a certain amount of control over the DNC, I did not want anyone to control the chair of the party for obvious reasons. I am a non-paid volunteer helping Hillary Clinton and Democrats up and down the ticket. That was my job.
Yeah, and you also write in the book about Clinton and black voters, one more piece on this, that all the data you wrote showed that 1% or fewer of black folks supported Donald Trump, so that vote seemed to Brooklyn to be in the bag for Hillary. No need to spend any money to court it when the poll numbers and the data points were so overwhelmingly in Hillary's favor. I knew that to be true, but there's a difference between telling a pollster that you favor a candidate and getting yourself out the door on election day and going to the polls. Are you essentially accusing the Clinton campaign of dropping the ball on the black vote and saying that that's why that she ultimately didn't prevail?
Let me tell you something. I think I'm one of a few people in this country. There are a lot more out there. I understand how to get out the vote. That was what I was trained to do. That's what I know how to do. But I can't go out there and enjoy and tell members of your family, even members of my family, let alone people that don't look like us, that I need their support, I need their help. I have no literature, I have no material. So as chair of the party, I sought to just get literature and material into the hands of people I knew would support Hillary. If you go into Little Haiti down in Florida and they say, Madam Chair, we don't hear any ads in our language. Madam Chair, we don't have any material. My job was to advocate for those voters who wanted to help Hillary Clinton win, and that's what I tried to do.
So I want to switch to this question that obviously this is the opening gambit for the book, the piece in Politico that talked about whether or not you and whether or not Bernie Sanders thought that the campaign was rigged. You write in multiple places in the book that you, in fact, believed it was not. There are several pages in the book in which you say that having looked at the election, you did not find any evidence that it was rigged, that there was no rigging. So So, but there have been excerpts of your book that were posted and headlines that suggest that you do believe that the primaries. So once and for all, in your view, were the primaries rigged against Bernie Sanders?
I said in my book, no. I found no evidence that the process was rigged. However, what I did find disturbed me. I said it was not illegal, because it's not illegal to set up joint fundraising agreements, but it was unethical, in my judgment, to have a process by which, in exchange for bailing the Democratic Party out, because we were broke. I think Secretary Clinton said that earlier this year. We were broke, but you know what? The Democratic Party should not be under the control of any candidate until that nomination process is over. And so I went to Bernie with my findings, and I told him what I had saw, and he accepted it, because clearly I got a chance over the next few months to work with Bernie and others, including supporters of Martin O'Malley and the other candidates, to get out the vote for Hillary Clinton.
And I'll just read that passage. I think I put it up, but he said that Bernie had legitimate reasons to complain about the actions of a handful of people at the DNC, obviously what was released in the WikiLeaks dumps, and I'd been totally forthcoming to him about that. But overall, the game was not rigged against him. The issue is this joint fundraising agreement that Hillary Clinton signed in 2015 that essentially gave her ultimately control of the party, but only if she became the nominee. And didn't all three Democratic candidates sign JFA? So if she had a JFA that would kick in should she be the nominee, and Bernie had one too, and O'Malley had one too, then how was that even unfair to Bernie Sanders?
Well, first of all, it was unfair to have a memorandum of understanding. This was an addendum to the joint fundraising agreement. This addendum to the joint fundraising agreement gave them the control over three departments. And because of those, and I found no evidence, even with those three departments, research, tech, comms, and fundraising in a certain degree. I found no evidence that they played any role whatsoever in the primary process. But again, having your research department, I mean, you know, starting in you know, late fall of 2015, I know they were focused on Republicans. I found no evidence that they were focused on Bernie Sanders. The evidence I did find, I brought it to light, including my own DNC emails. I mean, look, I had a DNC account, too, that was hacked.
But evidence of what? Because I think the question, and I've talked to some former Clinton staffers whose their expression is essentially, look, you know, this was a joint project together to elect Hillary Clinton, and they are expressing that, you know, it's sort of hurtful to sort of portray them as having sort of cheated against Bernie Sanders when all the rules were known 4 years earlier, and he knew what they were and he played by them.
Well, and Joy, remember, I'm on the Rules Committee. And again, I could tell you as a member of the Rules Committee, we did nothing to prohibit anyone from running. Bernie Sanders could run as a Democrat because we allowed him as a party. And there were people who helped him get on the ballot in various states.
Sure.
But here's where I take issue with anybody who is unfamiliar with the addendum that was written.
Okay, I'm going to actually ask you to hold that answer until the other side of the break, because we're going to pay for all this. And then when we come back, I'm going to have you finish that answer.
Yeah,
how about that? All right, Donna, we'll
like
be right back with us. Coming up more, and we'll talk more Alabama as well. We're going to talk Virginia. We'll be right back.